Hi, it's Shar. It is January 1st. It's a new year, 2017. And just wanted to give an update. I'm still recovering quite a bit from my surgery. So last night I was the Uber driver for my children because I guess that is a New Year's Eve is a time where if you do Uber or if you're a driver, you can kind of price hike. And my kids had asked me ahead of time if I would just come and get them. So I was a moober last night is what I was. And I'm not normally up that late, so got to sleep in and get a little caught up on rest today. I have 11 days after today until I go back to court to start preparing for my trial. I'm going to be meeting with that new attorney, and I just want to make sure that I'm documenting probably every step in the next 25 days because I lean on my faith. I pray for direction. And I think that the start of this back in September, and when I started recording the video, I was really doing it, and I didn't even know then why I was doing it. It just felt it was the only thing to do. And now I feel that I'm doing it because it is going to be documenting something that will change how our legal processes work. And it's bigger than I thought. It's a lot bigger than I thought. And my core, my gut says not to take any plea deal or community service to fight this through and to bring this to the attention of the American people and public, that we have a system in place where the abused are going to one silo, the civil, to seek protection from their abusers, but the abusers are familiar with the criminal and they know how to manipulate and twist things so that the people who have been dealing over on the civil side walk into situations and matters, and then through going through the criminal side, I'm seeing like the DA in my case is just continuing the process of abuse. And he is, let me go back and first say this, is that knowing what I know today, I would not have sent the messages to include this person, Dax is his name, on the message. I wouldn't, but at the time I had no clue that this person was under 18. He is leading a lifestyle that I had a 17-year-old. I know what that looks like. They go to bed at 10, they get up, they go to school. I know what that process looks like. It's not my first kid. I've got 3 of them. And so I had no clue this kid was under 18. You would think that he was 23, coming and going at all hours. He has a BMW. He's drinking. He's got girls. There's stripper poles downstairs. They're partying on a regular basis. I'm at his house and his dad's introducing him, and he's seeing that I'm going upstairs to stay the night. My children never saw any of that. So had I known that he was underage or that it would have any kind of emotional impact or would scar him, I wouldn't have said it to him. But we know that's not the case. And that this all started because Anthony went down and tried to, after he initially got arrested and was told to leave me alone, and he's calling me and texting me and telling me to answer him, and I'm not. And then he goes online on Facebook under a false profile for his dog and starts a smear campaign. And even with that, it doesn't work and I'm not reaching out. Then he ups it and threatens to go downtown, and he's going to file to get a no contact order, which he did, but it was immediately dismissed. And then he went and filed charges against me, or he did for his son on those photos. 2.5 months after, and this is within 12 hours of him being arrested. And continued the harassment cycle because the following Monday, this all happened on a Friday, on that Monday, somebody anonymously called my broker. That's what made me go and file a no contact against him that I was granted because he had put his hands on me. And I didn't file it right away because all I wanted him to do was leave me alone. I wanted him to go away. I'm not familiar with the criminal justice system. I was just counting on the systems that are in place that I'm familiar with here where I live in Altoona, which is different than where he went and filed his stuff. And so, you know, sometimes there's a saying that I heard, just because you can doesn't mean you should. And what I mean by that is, you know, just because I sent a picture to Dax asking for help, which violates a code of the law. So somebody's coming after me. Doesn't mean that you should. You need to take the whole landscape into consideration in the sense of I was under duress. I had already left my house. I was at my house sleepy or going to bed when this abuser showed up at my house, and I'm scared. So I end up leaving my house, going to a friend's house to stay the night, seeking asylum, if you will. And he's still barraging and threatening me that night about, I'm going to tell your kids, I'm going to do this, I'm block my phone number. And so then he tells my kids that I fuck niggers. He then sends a picture of me nude to my children. So I'm under duress and I'm reaching out for help because the last thing I want is to get police involved. I just want him to leave me alone. That's it. I'm not reaching out to him. And through all of that, and as you're going through the court system right now, everybody gets frustrated because I keep bringing the domestic abuse back in because they're like, Shar, forget about all of that. You can't use any of that in your defense. The only thing you have to worry about is that you've been charged with disseminating pornographic material to a minor. So you have to show that you didn't know he was a minor, that you didn't do it, which the police, what are we taught? Respect authority, tell the truth. Cop calls me, I tell him the situation, and you know what? If you look at what he needs to charge me, he walks me right into each thing that he needs. And so here I said, after my abuser got what he wanted, then he turned it over to local media, spread it on the internet, completely put my business out of business. Continued by calling where I had office at, made me move from there, had to move my brokerage, had to move my personal residence. And it just feels, I'm strong, I have this. And I thought that what else could I lose? And the DA's proven, you know what? I'm going to do the same thing to you. I'm going to threaten that you're going to lose your career. Because if I get convicted of this, my license goes back. I'm going to threaten to make it so that you can't see your kids because he's now threatened. Before he said he wasn't going to put me on the sex offender registry, but because I haven't taken his plea deal, now he's threatening to put me on the sex offender registry, which means that now I wouldn't be able to see my grandchildren or babysit them. And I'm the victim who's been protected by a no contact order. And I'm just stumped on where the common sense is here. And so I'm just going to continue to document it, let you know what's going on and my frustrations and my worries. I talked to my oldest daughter tonight. She wants me to take the plea deal. And I told her, I said, Kenzie, if for any reason or 5 or 10 years from now you are ever in the same situation and I had to sit by and watch, it would absolutely kill me to watch you have to go through something when I could have made a change or at least brought awareness to how it's done. If this was just for me, I would take the easiest way, but I believe that I'm being trusted with a bigger message and a bigger responsibility of doing this not just for me, but for anybody that has been re-victimized by the system that was designed to protect them. So I'm going to continue just praying and counting on my faith and feeding my mind good stuff, and you're on the journey with me. So, when I walk through the Freedom Trail, we know how it worked out. That's why we're all here. Walking the walk is very scary. And Nelson Mandela and Noah, and Paul Revere, and our founding fathers of this country, all of that was really scary because they faced death. I don't face death, but I face losing a lot of stuff. And I don't believe that standing up for what aligns who I am with what I believe is ever wrong. So pray for me.